What's up, everyone? We have reached Hobbs and Shaw, which is the last movie in my review series for the Fast and the Furious movies, so let's review it. Real quick, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below telling me what you thought of Hobbs and Shaw. And this is going to be a spoiler review for the movie, so you have been warned. Anyway, let's get right into it. So this movie is the second spin-off movie in the Fast and the Furious franchise, obviously Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift being the first one, and it follows Hobbs and Shaw, as the title suggests, who obviously has Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham's characters from the more modern movies, and they have to work together in this movie despite, hating each other, being enemies. They're ragging on each other all the time, so they have to work together to essentially stop Idris Elba. And he's kind of this like cyborg kind of character, and he has like created some form of disease, I believe, that he's gonna like unleash on people, and he's gonna kill a lot of people, generic villain stuff. So Hobbs and Shaw have to stop him, and before obviously he does that, and they have to work with Shaw's sister, who gets like infected with the disease or something like that. So it's basically those three main characters in the movie trying to get Idris Elba, or trying to stay alive as he hunts them, as kind of happens later towards the end of the movie. Anyways, that's the plot of the movie. And overall, I thought this movie was just a ton of fun. Hobbs and Shaw are two of the absolute best characters in really the modern movies, and two of the best characters to come from the modern movies. Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson are incredible actors, and their screen presence is incredible. They're super entertaining to watch, and these two characters are just so much fun to watch, and they're hilarious with their like banter against each other, and they say so many funny things that they just like insult each other pretty much throughout the entire movie, and that's really hilarious. And this movie is just hilarious in general. By far the funniest movie in the entire franchise. They even bring on people like Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Hart, or kind of have cameos in this movie to make jokes. And it's a ton of fun, and super funny to watch, and it's just, once again, by far the funniest movie in this franchise. And it doesn't feel like a Fast and the Furious movie at all, and I'll get to that in a little bit, but it really feels like its own thing, which is a really good thing in my opinion. And like I said, Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson are just so good at doing everything. They're really good in the action scenes, with kind of their choreographed action scenes, especially Jason Statham with that stuff. But their acting is really good. They're really funny. They're really entertaining, and they make this movie so watchable, and it just makes it such a good spin-off idea because these characters are so strong. The action in this movie is also pretty good. It's not the best in the franchise. It's far from the best in the franchise. But there's a lot of different types of action in this movie, and I really like that. It's not all about cars and using the cars for the action. There's plenty of just fighting action. The ending fight, there's a big brawl with all the Samoans taking on Idris Elba's guys. So there's a big brawl with that, which is some pretty cool stuff. But there also is a lot of good chase scenes, using vehicles and stuff. And the ending chase scene with a helicopter is pretty intense. And there's a few in the middle that aren't amazing in my opinion, but they're pretty good chase scenes. And throughout the action, it's really good in this movie. No, not much different than any other Fast and Furious movie. You go into these movies expecting good action. It certainly delivers. I wouldn't say it's as strong as some of the predecessors like Furious 7 and Fast 5, but it's definitely good. And overall, I didn't think the action was like super crazy, like we've kind of seen it in recent Fast and the Furious movies, where it's just completely over the top. I thought it was a little more tame in this movie. Obviously, ridiculous, not remotely humanly possible, but still, I thought it was a little tame. If you're not into the super crazy action, you might enjoy that a little more. My only complaint with this movie, and it's kind of a big complaint, is I thought the plot was pretty weak. It's a kind of a generic idea with Idris Elba's character. He's gonna like unleash this disease on people, and once again, Hobbs and Shaw have to stop him. That's pretty simple. It's not very creative, and it's just not super interesting or intriguing. I don't really care about the plot. Once again, you're mainly paying attention to Hobbs and Shaw. And that was pretty unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's not terrible. It's watchable for sure. Just like, I wasn't really interested in the plot at all. Though it does complement the action very well, and it complements, once again, it helps the movie. The movie does flow very nicely. Once again, the concept of the plot wasn't great, though the movie is still super entertaining. I love this movie's setting, as it takes place pretty much in London for like the first half of the movie. Then they go to Samoa, which is really awesome. I love how they go to these different kind of foreign settings, where they kind of use that element, like the culture of that of Samoa, to kind of complement the story and complement the action. That was really cool. You got a lot of like cool characters in there. Roman Reigns, if you're a wrestling fan, he was in there, which is pretty awesome. Overall, it was really nice that they use these cool settings, and it just really adds some flavor to the movie. And the movie just looks really nice as well. I have it on 4K, which is pretty nice. And it was just visually, it's a pretty solid movie. I would say the second best looking movie in the franchise, Furious 7 being the best. Once again, due to James Wan's directing, because he's good at that stuff. But it definitely looked really nice, and I liked like the jungle setting at the end, and I thought that looked really cool. So the biggest strength of this movie is just a ton of fun. It's super entertaining. It's super easy to watch. It's very mindless, like one of the most mindless movies in this entire franchise. They just absolutely go all in on the entertainment value, and pretty much whoever you are, you should find this movie pretty entertaining. There's just a lot to like about it, especially if you like Hobbs and Shaw and their characters, because you get a lot of them in this movie, and they're really fun. I also liked Shaw's sister. She complemented the characters well as kind of a not ridiculous character, kind of a more normal person. So she was really good in this movie. Idris Elba, I like Idris Elba a lot. I didn't think his character was amazing, not terrible. I kind of liked him towards the end in the ending fight. He had some good parts in that. But throughout the movie, I just didn't really care for him and care about what he was doing. And another thing is, this movie's completely free of the restraints of living up to the original movies. This movie really focuses on being its own movie, and I like that a lot. Where so many of the more modern movies have an issue where they try too hard to live up to the older movies and be similar to the older movies. Once again, with the racing and like the family talk and really all the tropes from the Fast and the Furious, the original from 2001, particularly the Fast and Furious from 2009. That's a big issue in that movie, where it doesn't try to be its own thing. This movie is completely its own thing. It doesn't feel like a Fast and Furious movie, like I mentioned, and I'm totally fine with that. I think this could be a direction this franchise could go if it gets burnt out. Obviously, we'll see with F9 if it's good or not, but I think that's absolutely... I wouldn't mind more spin-off movies. I wouldn't mind a sequel to this movie, because it just, it works. As a spin-off, it works. I like these characters. Hobbs is at a point in this franchise where he's been developed enough to really be his own character, and Shaw kind of up and coming. He's really in the same category. Obviously, he's been a few less movies than Hobbs has, but they're both really good, and I really wouldn't mind a sequel and maybe more spin-off movies in the future. I like this franchise. I like what they do with it, and they get huge budgets to make some huge action movies, and that works, so more of that I'm going to be totally fine with. So overall, this movie is very entertaining, and it's an absolute blast to watch, with great characters. Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham kill it in this movie. The action is really good, as always, from a Fast and Furious movie. But this movie can't help but feel insignificant within the franchise. If you love the main line of movies, you might kind of forget this one, and you might just not really vibe with it. I personally liked it for what it was, and I liked it being its own thing. But once again, if you like Fast and Furious 4, all the cars and the racing and Dom and all that, you might not like this one. But for me, it was totally fine. So overall, I really like this movie. I'm going to give it a 77% and 3.5 out of 5 stars. And that's going to do it for my review of Hobbs and Shaw, or Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, I guess is the technical title. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought of Hobbs and Shaw. And that's going to do it for the video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.